behind you, Herbie.
It's an international rivalry,
Time to run here,
but
Ryan.
is divided by a channel.
Good.
England hoping there's a gulf between them today. Off we go. France will get first touch of the ball. Let's hear the first thoughts in commentary of our two summarisers. John Wilkins, and alongside me the former England coach, these days the Welsh coach, John Keir.
Yeah, well, obviously the outcome of this game is very important to both teams, but I think the coaches sat on both sides were looking for the benchmark in consistency and quality, and they'll be looking for competition for places. The players who've been brought in to challenge the more established players for World Cup places further down the line.
Well, the French
looking
to make as many yards as they can in these early stages. The Costa out of dummy half. Belmas alongside him. John Wilkie, what are your thoughts?
Square, Victor. Hold, Tom. Go. Last. Nothing late. Nothing late.
Well, I don't think we're hearing John at the moment. I do apologise. We've got a few technical difficulties up here.
Okay.
But we'll just get on with it. Here's Ryan Hall. First touch of the World Cup for him. He's going to be a big influence, isn't he? I mean, he is the record England try scorer, 35 tries in 38 appearances, but it's what he does in his own half as much as anything, John.
Oh, exactly right. But talking about the competition as well, with Ryan Hall, with Young on the other wing, and the established player for me, and the best winger in the Super League competition, the English winger, is Tommy Makis. So there's two guys playing for one spot in my mind.
McAlorum out of dummy half. Here's Victor Radley.
Straight up, Ben. Hold me up. Wait, Ben.
Radley's tackle. McAlorum picks up Williams. Bateman, who's going to be put down. Still 30 metres away. Last play. Last play in this opening set from England's point of view. Williams puts it high. It's a test over there, but the French will get possession back again. And a chance for them to bring it clear here. What have you made of the opening stage? John Wilkin, I think we can hear from you now.
Yeah, just looking for a big start from England, following on the back of the Samoa performance, looking for a real disciplined defensive performance. We watched Australia last night, who was seamless, who were really clean in their disposal of Scotland. Well, Sean Wayne will be looking for no flex in his side's attitude here, despite a couple of changes, so I expect that. But from France, look, I think they're excited. I spoke to Trent Robinson before the game, and they're excited they can come here and get something this afternoon.
There's Garcia. As the French find themselves already on tackle 5, so it's going to take a kick from deep here to try and clear their lines. Good win in terms of defensive effort from England's point of view, and Dom Young, the newest superstar with his 2 tries last week, running it back towards that 40-metre mark.
Yeah, Dave, in the early exchanges, inevitably people use a parlance arm wrestle, but the way you can measure which team is slightly getting on top is where they're getting the first play. England are getting the first play in midfield, France more towards their own line.
This is Williams skipping onto it. What an effort he put in last week. Now McAlorum again. Bateman, who will just, on that familiar angled run of his, take England into a central position for this final play. Tompkins, it's going to be a little kick from Sneed. The challenge is on, it's not backwards, it's down on the ground. It's a real fumble-a-thon, and the initial knock-on was England's, so France get possession.
It's a great kick from Mark Sneed. It's a great kick from Mark Sneed. That's what he's in the team to do, provide accurate kicks. But concerningly for France, the England outside backs on that set just got a roll on. Ryan Hall punching through the French line. Young, Watkins, it's a very similar pattern to what we saw against Samoa. The net result is you get a kick that becomes an attacking kick, and you get somebody like Ryan Hall to contest it. But Sean Wayne knows that comes through the back and the carries and the power from his back 5.
But the pleasing thing for France, John, very much so, was the numbers around the ball. They realised the urgency of the situation. They worked real hard to get round there and defuse the situation.
11 of the 17 for the French today, by the way, played with Catalan this last year, so you know, they're no mugs. They are a side that finished in the top 4. They've been challenging for all the top honours over the last few years in the Super League. But maybe significantly, 2 of England's 17 also play at Catalan. Sam Tompkins and Michael McAlorum, who are pretty key characters in that England lineup.
Canny piece of play there as well from France, Tony Guijo. He kicked the ball on tackle 3, play 4, in order to buy some territory and prevent this England stranglehold that's building.
There's Young. Here comes McAlorum. Has a little look around, decides to go down that right-hand side. Callum Watkins carrying it well and with real good purpose. Inside the French half by a stride or two. There's a little tangle of bodies there at the play the ball, but unpicked and carried on. And now Tom Burgess will go surging forward with more than a decent effort from him. The South Sydney prop forward. Williams again with a skip and a good cut-out pass to Young on that right-hand side. Well, he tried to take him on, look for the inside ball. Neither option forthcoming. Williams with a chip again. Tompkins is up to knock it back. Hill's in there, offloads it, and here we go. Ryan Hall doing what Ryan Hall does best in an England shirt. 36 tries in this his 39th appearance. He is prolific. Getting on a bit now in rugby league terms, but he still produces the goods.
Yeah, hugely experienced Ryan Hall, fantastic finisher, and it was just a great set from England. Really pushed and prodded and probed this French defence. Sean Wayne game plan for sure. Was George Williams getting down those short sides. It was Wellesby last week against Samoa. George Williams unpicking the right edge defence, and then it's the kick from Williams crossfield, and it's just into that awkward space when nobody's really willing to jump and catch for France. And then smart play from Sneed to Ryan Hall on the end.
Yeah, they're trying to land the ball on the smaller player, the half-back. And interesting to see there, John, as well, that Sam Tompkins, the England #1, was up there challenging for the ball, and it was him actually that played it back before some great hands there allowed Hall to score.
And we spoke a lot about Mark Sneed's kicking game. Well, that's a great kick from George Williams in a really tricky spot to defend. Ryan Hall gets the try, but it's from a really smart kick from George Williams. And you're right, John, into a part of the field where people just aren't expecting to jump and catch the ball. Mark Sneed with a relatively easy conversion off the back of it.
His first official cap today, Mark Sneed. First one that counts on the statistics. So here he has a chance of kicking his first English points.
He got the Williams pass to the Young.
Sneed, over it goes. 2 points added. So he's now an England point scorer. Ryan Hall is an England record try scorer, and England leads 6-0.
Yeah, spot on start, isn't it, for England? And as John's rightly pointed out, that was game plan. You know, look at the short side, and then when it gets to the last play, kick short, a shorter kick, but still giving it enough time, enough hang time for the challengers to get there.
Third World Cup as well for Ryan Hall. You see that story? He's been learning Debussy on the piano. He's a pianist, and he's been learning Debussy on the piano this last week to try and settle nerves.
Of course he has, Rubik's Cube.
He does everything, doesn't he? He is rugby league's polymath. He is an incredible character, and he's lovely. He's a lovely guy as well. It's great to see him at this third World Cup for him and scoring a try. Here now comes Chris Hill, leading the line. Another who's been there and done it in England terms. Third World Cup for him as well. Burgess will push. French resistance just pushing him back a yard or two. McAlorum has a look up at one or two of his teammates. Familiar faces amongst those ahead of him, and left it goes again for Elliot Whitehead, who's a former Catalan player, by the way. There's a lot of former Catalan players out there too. So real Perpignan connection. I'm sure they'll be having a get-together at the end of the game. McAlorum waits. Hill again. Hill will go charging forward. Tries to find the halfway line and does. Good push from him. But here comes the last. McAlorum spinning it back to Sneed. Sneed with another of those kicks, arcing it towards the left-hand side. It's Laguerre who's over there to catch it and can run it back, and England's line is good in the chase. Yeah,
it's a powerful set from England. Worryingly for the French, they're just carrying the ball so strong. Not an awful lot of support with the ball carriers for Hill and for Burgess, but making easy meters. And from receiving the ball on your own line from a kick-off, Mark Sneed's kicks made it down into the 20-yard line for France. So it's tough to win this sort of battle back.
Laurent Frézineau, the French coach, a stylish half-back with Villeneuve and Catalan as a player. Played for France in the 2000 World Cup as well, did Laurent. And as he said, he's assembled a team here that's got some ability. Whether they can match this English side remains to be seen, but 9 minutes played, they find themselves second best on the scoreboard, and needing to kick again from deep inside their own half from Gigot. And caught by Tompkins, and here comes Ryan Hall. Big thudding effort from him once more, at those big men down the middle in the French shirts.
That's a great carry, wasn't it, from Hall? But not only a great carry, when he hits the contact, he then uses his leg drive to get further meters as well. And tackle 2, John, already on the halfway line.
Yeah, I love it. Just coming out of a cannon, the England outside backs just hitting the ball with purpose and making yards and creating just tricky rucks.
As a coach, as Burgess gets in, and they keep it alive here. 6 more, they got a French touch, and Farnworth now on this left-hand side, just looking for a route back on the inside, and in the end deciding to stick hold because England have 5 more tackles, 6 more tackles rather from here, because that was the 0. Here comes Radley, changing the angle of attack. Another 6, set restart. That's been knocked down, it's going to be another set. And in fact, it's a penalty for offside, not square at the play the ball. So I was going to say, John, as a coach, I mean, as confident as you are coming into a game like that, how much of a relief is it to get that opening try so early?
Well, it's a great relief, and it ticks certain boxes, and England really have started well. But as from a French perspective, Dave, you'd be pretty worried because the game is absolutely, the first 10 minutes, been totally dominated by England, both with possession and field position.
Well, here they come again. McIlroy back towards Williams, and Williams has got the runner of Hill on his right-hand side. Chris Hill forcing the issue again, and McIlroy stands and waits, delivers left. Williams, now it's Burgess, try scorer last week from a similar platform as that, just sheer brute power took him over the line in Newcastle. Williams over the top, brilliant. Farnworth, here comes Ryan Hall again. Oh, Ryan Hall's in for a second. He's extending that record almost with every touch, and England fans are loving this.
Yeah, it's really smart play from England. George Williams on this left edge. Look, defences can be passive or they can be aggressive. When the French decide to be aggressive here on England's left edge, well, George Williams just really smart to throw a cut-out pass, and it's this. Came off the Ben Julian knock on and not square at marker. That gave England the opportunity, and it's just a smart play using Sam Tompkins as a foil out the back. Great ball to Herbie Farnworth, and then Ryan Hall's in too much space, but beautiful ball there from George Williams.
Yeah, I think the centre though, John, I think he made the ball carrier's decision for him there. By shooting out so early, it made Williams decide I can go over the top, and that's exactly what he did to put Ryan Hall away, ultimately via Farnworth over in the corner.
But that's the threat of Sam Tompkins, because he's such a threat out the back. You think, right, we'll go be aggressive and shut him down. And when you do that, well, there's always a plan to get out, and Williams just threw it across his face into Farnworth's hands, and it was just easy from there on in, but really smart play from George Williams. Maybe dumb defence.
Yeah, and if Julian goes as the right centre for France, Romana also has got to go. One went, the other held back, a bit of a disconnect. There certainly hasn't been a disconnect within this England performance, both offensively and defensively.
Here's a quiz question for you. The last time these two met in a World Cup was 2017, a game at Perth, which England won by 36 points to 6. Ryan Hall, the left winger, 2 tries here today. Can you remember who the left winger was that day for England? The left centre wing partnership. Here's one for rugby league nerds. It's not one you'd come up with immediately, I'll tell you. John Bateman and Stefan Ratchford.
Thanks for putting us out of our misery.
You'd never have got that, would
we
you?
wouldn't have
never
got it. No.
Oh, there's Sneed with a wonderful kick. Absolutely wonderful kick. Everything's coming up roses for England. They lead by 12 points to 0.
This is a marvellous piece of rugby league here, and it is playing eyes up there. If you looked at Williams, as Williams received the ball, he glanced up and he realised what was happening on the French edge, and then his pass selection was superb, and it made it pretty easy for the blonde-haired Ryan Hall to cross, to make his coach Sean Wayne a happy guy.
Yeah, for your halfbacks who touch the ball a lot, peripheral vision's really important. George Williams just taking all sorts of cues off the French defenders about how they're going to behave. Julian made it very obvious to everyone, us up here, everybody in the stand knew that he was going to be aggressive. Well, George Williams certainly picked up on that, and just real subtle change of their play to get the ball in Herbie Farnworth's hands. What a start here for England.
Well, the French are starting again in the momentary absence of Ben Garcia. He's going to be okay, but he was getting a bit of treatment down at the other end. He's just jogging back into line now. There he goes. And England start from deep again, but that has not stopped them making hay so far.
No, the French team need the ball, don't they? They need some possession, and they need to get in the right parts of the field, because England, they're just in a rhythm here coming out of their own half. The strong carries again. Victor Radley may be offering a little bit of shade, but it's just too easy and too powerful for England.
Step back on the inside by Hill. Those who have not been keeping a close eye on this World Cup, just let me tell you the meaning behind this match. If England win today, that almost certainly, 99.9999% certain of them being in the quarterfinals, it would need Greece to pull off two sensational results against Samoa, and then England next week to deny England a quarterfinal spot. And a win here today just about gives them top in the group as well, you would have thought. So it's an important game from that respect.
It's a pretty good menu, isn't it, that England are following with their yardage work. They're charging really aggressively into the contact. They've got players either side of them to put some doubt to the defender's mind. They're playing the ball quickly and they're kicking it very well. And the French haven't yet kept England within their own half in any set.
I think we can hear from Robbie Hunter-Paul, who's got happy memories of this ground, haven't you, Robbie, as a New Zealand player in a World Cup?
Yeah, Dave, a couple of happy memories, but in the context of this game, I've got to say, France have got to do something different. They've got to maybe start testing the referee and just pushing him, maybe even to the extent of giving away a penalty, giving away a couple of penalties and just slowing this England ruck down. They picked up where they left off in the game against Samoa, and they're just getting too many yards for free, too easy.
This is England's intent to attack from defence. You could see what they were trying to do there in the combination of Young and Farnworth and Hall. The French managed to get up there and stop them, but that is the confidence that is flowing through this English side at the moment.
They know they're in a good vein of form and they're enjoying playing with each other. And look at that, three quarters. All the backs there have got it out of their own half, and now they can start playing.
And that's why George Williams is playing well. He started running the ball. He's ran the ball more for England in the last couple of games than he has a lot of the year for Warrington. He's got so many good players around him, and it's bringing the best out in George Williams without doubt.
Right to Williams. Williams with another of those cut-out passes. Go on, Ryan. Let's see if he can get an early hat-trick. Was the suggestion on that pass, but last play in the set, back it comes. Sneed again with a kick to the corner. There's plenty of England chasers after this, but it's taken safely by Morgan Escaré, who's in danger of being dragged out, and is. Herbie Farnworth, big play in defence, has got England possession back again in the shadows of that French line.
Well, as an end of set, that was absolutely superb. The kick from Sneed into the corner, it's like kicking into the snooker pockets there, into the corner. What a chase from Farnworth, and he wouldn't let Escaré find the floor to make it tackle complete. Kept him off the ground, put him over the sideline. He's earned his side another set.
And how tidy has Herbie Farnworth been? Both sides of the ball, defensively flawless against Samoa, some great carries also, and just here, I think his involvements are always high quality from what I've seen. Big play from him there.
Here's Burgess with the carry. Oh, he's lost it. He's lost it. Yep, play on. He's half claiming at steal there. There's no captain's call. There can't be a captain's call because it's play on, but
that's the first error, isn't it, from England? So, 16, nearly 17 minutes into the game. That's not a bad effort, and it's just what the French required.
Yeah, and England completed at 90%, so completed 90% of their sets of 6 against Samoa, and that's incredibly high, benchmarks against the rest. Usually around 60s, 70s, 80s is good, 90s is incredible. So they complete high, this England team.
Some of the stats we're looking at the moment, England have made 372 metres to France's 95.
That's incredible.
And the French have had to make 98 tackles to England's 59 already in this game.
And that's energy, right? Once you take that energy away from France, it's just hard to get it back.
Kick is allowed to bounce. Young should get it okay. He does. French chase is pretty good. And England start from there. Here's Watkins with that initial carry and thrust. McAlorum getting up into dummy half, just shooing Sam Tompkins out of the way. This is my role. Here comes Ryan Hall again. The barrelling winger.
He's got a point to prove, hasn't he, Ryan Hall? And I believe he's out to prove it today.
You could imagine him watching last week, all the outside backs having great days and just wanting his time. Well, he's taken it here, hasn't he?
So I think our viewers in Australia, as Williams puts the kick towards the corner, our viewers in Australia will remember 2017, Ryan Hall and Jermaine McGilvray were an absolute wow, weren't they? You know, the Aussie fans were looking on and going, who are these two? And the fact that Ryan Hall wasn't first choice last week might have surprised a few of our Aussie friends, but shows the strength and depth that England have at the moment. That is the impressive thing about this England side. Down the years we've had world-class packs, your Burgesses, your Grahams, your Peacocks, your Morleys, but this feels like a world-class backline now.
Definitely, definitely. And interestingly, speak about Burgess. Tom Burgess has just come off the field of play, and it's Luke Thompson who has entered the field of play.
Well, the French have got a bit of flow now. Oh, that's stymied a little. Well picked up, though, by Escaré to keep it alive. Langui, but this is the fifth. So on the last, the French are going to be asked to produce something here. A kick. There's some pressure there. Young gets up and catches it. Some pressure on him as well.
Yeah, encouraging sign there for France. Ben Garcia deciding to move the ball, organised a little bit of shape around him. And just that little bit of movement just caused England a little bit of trouble. It's a fumbled pass that Langui managed to gather. But maybe there's a sign there for France to move the ball on this big England side.
Here we go again. England looking wide straight away. Never mind the middle. Let's go for the fringes. Farnworth.
There's a great tempo to this England play, isn't there?
Look at that metres gain. Look at that metres gain now. 4.37 against 1.33. 117 tackles the French have had to muster. That's how many? 5 sets more? Nearly six sets more than England have had to defend. Last play in this set. Williams, they're not going to go through aerial routes. They're going to go through the boot of Watkins.
Knock on.
Knock on. So England get it back again.
It was a tidy piece of play again. George Williams getting the ball on last. You clearly look for Mark Sneed. Got the ball to Watkins. Watkins just trying to put it on toe. Couldn't quite find the right kick. A bit of a manufactured last play. That's probably the first time they've had an unstructured last play. It's not a bad result, but it certainly looked to get the ball in Mark Sneed's hands and just make sure that's controlled. But nice piece of enterprising play for George Williams, just looking to explore, kick back to that short side.
And again, John, it's eyes up play, wasn't it? You know, I'm certain his first thought was to kick into that corner. He saw the wingman was back, he saw they had numbers, and that's why he took a punt on it, and I'm all for that.
That's Whitehead with the initial thrust. McIlroy stands at dummy half. There's another 6 tackles to go. Radley goes right. Here comes Hill. Hill with a push. Big leg drive for him. Meters after contact. Goes down 2 away. McIlroy spins it back. Sneed once more. Now it's with Tompkins. Tompkins looking to put that big left foot step on. But his French Catalan teammates know all about that. Stop him in his stride. Sneed inside. Radley again. Twisting in the tackle, 10 out, right in front of the sticks. McIlroy, the band playing in the background, looking to serenade another England try here as the kick goes in from Sneed. There was a touch. I didn't think there was a touch, but the referee says Romano got fingertips on that. Drop out underneath the sticks.
This is a very young French side. I think that's a bit of inexperience from Romano there. That ball was going dead. He just needed to shield the ball from the England chaser, and it would have gone over the dead ball line, which resulted in a tap 20 and a 7 tackle set. As it is, he didn't have that composure. He ferried the ball dead with his hands, and England once again in possession.
Oh well, they're going for don't be certain of that, because they've gone short with a dropout, and they've got the ball back, have the French. That is clever and a little desperation, but they've got it back again.
Well, for people who've watched Toulouse play, Tony Gigo's been doing that all season. Short kickoffs, short dropouts, trick plays, and when he's at his best, trick plays work. Well, I used to play with the French guy Hakim Maloudi, and I used to have to say to him, ne montre pas, which means don't show off. It's the temptation of players, you know, those flair players in the French team, to show off, and Tony Gigo certainly loves to do that.
I almost thought a Frenchman had arrived in the commentary box there.
I think you did.
Not. Here it comes through Escaré. He's going to try, and again he's being pushed, and he offloads desperately. Well, is that a knock-on? No, it's play on, because England have the ball back. Escaré, again, very close to being dragged out of play, has given England possession back again, and they're looking to make the most of it right from the start. Williams. Dragged to the ground eventually.
I love it when he scampers, Williams, when he goes laterally, when he just pins his ears back and runs at space. It makes defenders sit down, and it looks dangerous for England every time he does it.
Coming on number 23.
Here's McAlorum. On the inside, Alechki, the Gdansk-born prop forward, Mikolai Alechki. There's not been many of those down the years, pulling on an England shirt in a Rugby League international. Radley with a break, great stop, inside ball, and it's going to be a gallop through for Luke Thompson to get underneath the sticks and score England's third. One of the less fancy players, but boy does he do a job as well.
But the try was fancy in its construction, Dave. Just really beautiful interplay from the forwards. Luke Thompson benefits and scores under the sticks. But we have to look at Victor Radley and how he organised his players around him. It came from the turnover, didn't it? Morgan Escaré just looking like he's going to get dragged over. Farnworth involved again. That led to England having possession. And once England have got possession, they look dangerous. Beautiful from Radley. Step off the right, and then aware that support's coming on the inside. He'd arranged all of that around him. He had a support player on his outside. He pulled Thompson on his inside. As soon as he kicks back and beats Garcia on his inside, he knows Thompson's there. Fantastic from Victor Radley.
Yeah, that shape, John. I mean, an inside runner and an outside support runner. What it did, it made it a one-on-one tackle. It made it Radley v Garcia, and fortunately for England in that case, the footwork of Radley came to the front, and then obviously when you've got that shape either side, once you make the bust, you've got the support there as well, and that's a marvellously constructed try.
He does have a surprising burst of pace, Luke Thompson, doesn't he, as well? He is quick for a prop forward.
Pre-season testing at St Helens, he was the second quickest over 40 metres. That's in a side with Regan Grace, Tommy Makinson.
Sneed puts it over, 3 out of 3. England lead by 18 points to 0. And this again is turning into a very special England performance.
Yeah, without doubt, and this is just a different way to score points. You know, the outside backs have been incredible. Well, this is all about the big men and all about Victor Radley. Now he comes into the team to do this. He's a forward that's in charge of moving the ball and creating opportunities and nudging teams around defensively. Well, he does it fantastically well. Both him and Morgan Knowles in this England team, Morgan Knowles not playing today, are capable of doing that. But this man, Victor Radley, he's a special player. Plays for Sydney Roosters, man of the match in the last week's game against Samoa for some really telling contributions early on. Fantastic player and such an asset for Shaun Wane.
Well, the points keep mounting up. England have now scored 128 points in their last 3 games. And there's still a lot of time to go in this game.
And conceded 6.
Conceded 6, and that was an interception as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I mean that's equally as important to Shaun Wane, because they won't be getting blowouts throughout the competition. You know, they will be challenged, and the defensive side is equally, if not more so, important than the attacking side.
Here comes McAlorum.
Yeah, we see this stat, Dave. That's England 15 play the balls in the opposition, 20. France yet to have one. I mean, it's been visible. We could see that that's not happened. Just makes it incredibly difficult to get a foothold in the game if you don't have field position. England have really dominated in that area and dominating on the scoreboard here.
One last play. Sneed puts it up. Ball end over end, spin in the air. Morgan Escaré underneath it, but where's he going? Because there's all those white-shirted England players waiting for him. Lauren Fresino looks a man who's just a little discombobulated at the moment. What does he do to change this? Can he change this from his position? Desperate offload. Laguerre comes on.
Well, you can certainly have a chat at half-time and suggest one or two things differently, but this is a young French side that is getting a lesson, and it's a matter that they need to learn pretty quickly, because principles of rugby league about possession and position, and England have been absolutely perfect.
I just don't think France can compete unless they physically start to get in control of situations like this. England, 3 men in the ruck, rucks are controlled. The flip to that is when France are trying to deal with the outside backs and the big forwards of England, they're just not getting to grips with that situation. The game gets too quick and they're making too much yards.
Pelissier on the field in the dummy half position now. Getting on the back of Sangaré here. Another set of 6 because Thompson was lying on there, just not getting himself out of the way quick enough. So the French now start their tackle count from 0, and they are inside the England half, not quite inside their 20, but this might bust that stat of not having a play inside the England 20, because they're getting very close now. Pelissier, he's a real flash of lightning from dummy half, given half a chance. Seguier, so here we are, first time in 28 minutes that France get to play the ball in their opponent's 20 metres, and they're moving it well. Gigot back towards the middle. Garcia's bouncing off defenders. Well, there's still 3 tackles left here. Pelissier comes right. Morg with a chip. Just got a half a hand, and Morg's quickest to it. And he deserved that. And the French do get encouragement. Arthur Morg, little bit of creativity and craft. And France finally have a response here.
And you must give them credit there. That's the first time, really, they've had a look at the England goal line. And they've taken full advantage of it. And it was clever play from Arthur Morg there. Oh, it was an early tackle kick, and you know, it put the ball through. But this is a 6 again, and that's so important because it allowed them to build that bit of pressure. And he put the kick through, played it there by Mark Sneyd, but he couldn't reel it in, and Morg takes full advantage.
Yeah, and the guys in the studio spoke about him developing his rugby IQ and becoming less of an individual athlete and more of a structured team player. Well, just nice game awareness, but that's an individual play, isn't it? That's pure individual talent, confidence. I'm just going to kick early, get some. Mark Sneyd's intervention is an element of luck in that. I feel like the kick might have been too strong, but realistically France will take anything at the moment. And Arthur Morg's just come up with just a bit of magic. 2 play the balls, that's all they need, Dave. 2 play the balls in the 20.
Yep. Just need a few more now, don't they?
Yeah.
Inside that 20. He's having a good World Cup, is Arthur Morg. 18 points last week against the Greeks, with a try and 7 goals. Looking to add another 2 to his 4 here. Fans in the Bolton Stadium doing their best to put him off, but up he steps and he stubs it through. And the French are on the board, 18 points to 6 with half an hour play.
That's just what they needed. Arthur Morg, known for his running style, his balanced running style, his ability to change direction and not lose speed. His short kicking game really coming to the fore there, and we see the acceleration on the chase. Tony Gigot's delighted with his half-back partner, Arthur Morg. Maybe Laurent Fresneau could just feel a little bit less anxious about his side's performance. Maybe they'll just calm and relax into this one.
But John, the challenge is still bringing the ball from their own half. It really is. England are restricting yards really, really well with their defence deep in the France half. And the challenge now, can the French get the ball up towards the halfway line within this set of 6?
There's 2 ways to do it, is to carry it or to get penalties. In England, if they're going to let France back in, it'll be through 6 agains and discipline.
Soria spins and plays. Pelissier at a dummy half, and he adds a threat there, doesn't he? England are going to be switched on around that rock area.
Well, both him and Da Costa are on the field at the same time, Dave, so
both of them.
That might be one way that the coach, Laurent Fresneau, is trying to solve this yardage problem.
6 again, 6 again. There's another lift back into the game. As Goudemont finds himself just short of the halfway line. So the French are going to get back inside English territory here. Sangaré. That's a good push as well. That's terrific from Justin Sangaré. Pelissier has a little look around. Inside for Morg. England's defence just being tested here in the last few moments. As Pelissier goes across again. This is Da Costa. Back on the inside for Seguier. Well, they've still got tackles to come. It's another play the ball inside their opponent's 20. They're mounting up now. Da Costa with a flat pass. Pushed again by Goudemont. Last play. Pelissier's trying to cook something here. Just beckoning to his teammates. Off he goes from dummy half. He's going for the short pass for Sangaré to try and blast his way in. But second best outcome is that the French give up possession only a yard from that English line.
Yeah, it was a big tackle from Michael McLaurin. Went low on a much bigger man. Just felled the French front rower. Great defence.
What we felt, we asked how the French were going to get yards out of their own half. Now, are they good enough to restrict England's yards? That's the next challenge.
I love your questions. You used to be a French coach as well, didn't you? Oh, England have lost the ball. So the French have possession back again.
That's how you do it.
There's your question answered, John Keir. Andy Ackers is about to come onto the field. I think he's on the field. Is he? McIlaurin's off. Yeah, there's Andy Ackers on the field. So interchange for England, but the French at the moment are being encouraged from the position they have put themselves in. Now they're offering a threat. Pelissier is over to score. There's his danger, there's his sharpness, but we're going to have to look again.
We'll have a try.
Video referee says try on the
That
field.
he doesn't come through the man playing the ball and instruct the defender.
And we're going to hear from Robert Hicks in the video ref booth.
Video referee to match director. We have an on-field decision of try. Please can I see all available angles to confirm that the player does not go through the play the ball to score.
The decision from Robert Hicks, our video referee.
I'll go slow here, please, if you can. Yeah, that's going to be as good an angle as I need, I think, probably, unless you've anything from directly behind. Okay, nice and slow, please. So he goes to the side of the play the ball. Live decision is try. Yeah, okay, and the farther right angle is the best one, and nice and slow, but once we see it at slow, I'll be able to make it pretty quick. Thank you, I've seen all the angles I need, now I made my decision.
Well, the referee on the field was almost there in giving it. Video referee has given it, and this is quite a reaction from the French here. Try confirmed, 2 tries back to back. They hadn't had a play the ball in the England's 20, and once they got there, suddenly they're wreaking havoc.
Well, this man Pelissier has made a real difference, hasn't he? The Rooks have got quick, England's discipline's just got a little bit scratchy, and Elwar Pelissier is the man who's really taken advantage of that. He's created a couple of little half breaks, the game's sped up, and then come up with the try with the barge near the line.
So Morg going through all his routine, even though this should be very straightforward, right in front of the sticks, and over it goes, and out of nowhere, suddenly England have a game on their hands.
Yeah, it's a great riposte, isn't it? And it's come from this. I think that's great contact there. It's under the ball, Garcia. Yeah, under the ball, hit with the shoulder. That ball, the field position. And Andy Ackers, who just come on the field there, was tasked with trying to keep Pelissier out. Pelissier is technically great. He's gone very low, so it's difficult to tackle. But that will be a try that's conceded that will irritate Sean Wayne. A barge over are the most irritating tries to concede.
He'll be irritated with that and his team's lack of discipline for the last 8 or 10 minutes, which has just given the French team a chance.
I tell you what is significant, straight away Andy Ackers is off. He was the man behind the play the ball there, and McAlorum is back on. That's what we're told. Is that not the case? No. No. Ackers is still on the field. He gets another go.
You would have taken him off, Dave, it sounds like. You've subbed him.
He's ruthless.
Oh my God.
Dave Woods, the coach, is ruthless.
The ruthless shepherd's hook from Dave Woods. Get him off.
Well, he's still out there. Apologies to Andy Ackers as the French begin to move forward again now. But it's on the last play this time inside their own half. So Gigot with a kick. Hall, it's not a 14-20, I don't think, anyway, if it had gone past him, but Hall makes absolutely sure with a pick up and a carry back. And England looking to just refocus here now.
Yeah, and some better intent from the French team in the way they've defended. We saw Garcia put his shoulder in, force an error, nice kick chase, good contact, and really controlling the carries from England is going to be really important for French just to manage their own energy levels as the game goes on.
Here's Young with a carry. Ackers in at dummy half and Watkins on his right, and Ackers is going to have a go. His Salford teammate Watkins was there, but that's what Ackers does, that's what Ackers brings to the party, that ability to just spring out of acting half position. Now it's with Whitehead. England's progress is good. 1 play to go, 5 minutes to half time here. England wouldn't mind a bit of a settler of another try. Sneed with the kick. And this time Escaré finds the ground to keep him in play.
He couldn't go down quicker, could he? He's like, get me down, I don't want to get dragged over there again. Nice kick from Mark Sneed. These are the defensive positions you love to defend in. 10 and 10, 10 yards out, 10 yards in, and just looking for England to get off the line and make some great contact.
And they've gone back to the earlier script, John, haven't they? Put the ball in the corner and let's try and restrict the French yardage. But what needs to improve here is the 6 agains or the penalties, really. England need to be absolutely squeaky clean in this defensive set.
Nice untidy pick-up from Escaré, but he's okay, he's not fumbled it. But again, 10 short of the halfway line. The French find themselves running out of tackles. So again, it's a Gigot kick inside the 40, but Dom Young with some nice footwork. He looks like somebody who could do that every day of the week, doesn't he, Dom Young? Just flick it up, looks so calm and collected. And now Watkins will bring it forward. Ackers rather, just behind him. Here comes Thompson. Thompson with a big blasting hit. Maybe not had the impact on the NRL that we thought he might. At St Helens he was sensational. Radley to Williams. Williams trying to untwist and untangle.
There's a bit more stick in the French contact, isn't it, at the minute?
It's a bit more self-belief now for the French, isn't there? Having scored there too. Thompson again. So where's Ackers? Gonna play this one. Left to teammate Sneed. Sneed again, end over end. And that's a good take by Romano. Just to give the French a bit of relief.
Yeah, it was a great take from Romano. It's just a short kick, an awkward kick. Romano just timing his jump perfectly. Great escort from Julian. We call that escort where your defensive player runs off a chaser or makes it hard for a chaser to compete for the kick.
But they're struggling for yards here, the French, aren't they?
Well, they've gone back to process, haven't they, England? They were rattled a little, and they've just gone back to type and used the early script, and it's working once again.
Morgan Escaré trying to encourage the referee to give a penalty for not square or something or other there. Samisoni Langi will take it on. Again, they're on that 40-metre mark. A bit of a pattern developing again now, the French. And that kick is going to be goaled up by Tompkins.
Great positional play that from Sam Tompkins.
And I do think the key for the French team is to move the ball, to move England around. Every time they've just tossed the ball to Samisoni Langi there and chewed up 15-20 metres. They spent 4 carries and maybe made 15 metres just through a little bit of play. There's a meterage gain to be had, and it certainly tests England's lateral movement out.
Ackers, now Hall, hungry for some work. Such a humble character as well, Ryan Hall. When he talked to him about his try scoring, he says, that's just the end of the process. It's my teammates who put me over. That's not a big issue. Think about it when I'm retired, he says. Radley now. Taking it on. Out of dummy half, it's taken by Ackers. Sneed again with a chip to the corner, but the height of Romano gives him that advantage to just pluck the ball clean again.
Well, with just over a minute left, Dave, and I'll tell you what, if the scoreline remains at this, and it might not now, if the scoreline remains at 18-12, I think the French team will be the happiest of the two.
It's just a huge error from Julian, isn't it? 1 minute to go till half-time. His side have just clawed the way back. He could have clawed that pass in.
There's a bit of a contretemps coming on at the moment. Just having a little word with each other here. Not sure how good John Bateman's French is, but he's having a word.
But that's a poor error because the scrum's in the middle of the field now. England have chosen to take the scrum to the middle of the field. It will make it really difficult to defend. There's so much space from this point of view. And I'm certain England will overload one side and try and create a numerical advantage against the French defence.
Yeah, whoever feeds the scrum often then loops round, doesn't it? Creates an extra number on one side. And certainly that Tompkins and all of his cohort are making a plan, hatching a plan behind the scrum as Tompkins shifts to the left. Really tricky wide spaces to defend, and look at the width of George Williams off this scrum. If we can get a shot of that, he's stood so wide.
There he is, right-hand side. Here it comes. That is Williams who takes that first carry. 40-odd seconds to play in this first half. That's time enough for a full set, you would have thought. And England on tackle 1. Watkins desperately close to breaking through. Back towards the middle again, and Aledzki down, but wanting to get up and play this as quickly as he can. 25 to go in this first half. Sneed goes left, the ball bounces up to Farnworth. Farnworth goes against the grain of the defence to look for an inside channel. He might just be finding one here, pops it over the top. Wrong man. Lange has it, and that should be the end of it.
Yes. Just been a bit scratchy. I think Mark Sneed, a couple of poor kicks. Pass went to ground there. Heavy Farnworth looks dangerous, doesn't it? But what a great comeback here from France. England have started spectacularly well.
Well, the half-time hooter sounds. England leading by 18 points to 12. Super smooth for the first 25 minutes or so when they scored their 3 tries, but just a little scratchy since then. They still have the lead, they'll still be super confident, but the French have given themselves real hope in this contest, so there's still a lot to be done in the second half. Let's hear, as we see the scoreline, 18-12 for England. Let's hear from Sam Tompkins, the England captain.
Sam, you started very well. Did you drop your intensity or did they up theirs in that last 10 minutes or so?
I think it was really sloppy defence from ourselves that got them back in it. Some pretty harsh 6 against, I thought, but we changed how we defended. For the first 20 minutes we were dominant with pretty much all our defence, and we sort of went a little bit loose on that, and you know they've got threats and they countered pretty well down our end.
Thanks for your time. Let's bring in Benjamin Garcia, the French captain. Ben, it took you the best part of half an hour to get down on their line, but once you did, you showed what you can do. Does that give you hope you can go on and win this?
Yeah, of course. I think we make all the effort, and the score is pretty close. Playing against a great team, but we have 40 minutes left, so we'll give everything on the film.
Any concern that first 20-25 minutes has taken a bit out of the tank?
Yeah, of course. It was tough. They start really strong, but we knew that. So we are still in the game, and we'll give everything.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, interesting thoughts from Tompkins and Garcia. We've got a game, Jamie.
Well, Garcia's worked hard, hasn't he? Getting his breath back there. Hopefully he'll catch it before he comes out in the second half. But that's one of the fastest games I've seen, or certainly the first half, in my own perception, because every time England play the ball, they look threatening, they look dangerous. Gone are the days when it's 5 tries for a kick coming out of yardage, playing conservative field position, territory rugby. They're looking up, they're seeing what's in front of them, and they're jumping the gun, they're recognising plays, opportunities, and executing really well.
We'll look at all the tries in a minute, but just as an overview about half, Sam Tompkins with Tanya there, very keen to sort of say it was England getting sloppy rather than France getting back into it. Is that being slightly unfair on the French?
Look, I think after 15 minutes it was the old fight or flight for the French. They had to either find a response, or it was going to be one-way traffic. I thought there was a bit of both there. England came up with some errors, which they never did in the first 15 minutes. France started to move the ball a little bit more. Well, let's be honest, they've only been down here 3 times and scored 2 tries. So the key for the French is, can they somehow get some more field position in the second half? That's the challenge for them.
England were blistering, weren't they, for 25 minutes, really. Mark Sneed's kicking, but also the way George Williams moved England and then in turn the French defence around the field.
Yeah, Williams and Watkins continued their great form, I thought, from last week, and we can see Watkins go down the short side here. I just created space. He's carried the ball hard all the way through. The back 5 all up for England throughout that, and it created space for George Williams, who went down the short side and skips across into 2 French defenders, and this is just a wonderful ball from a great half-back out to Young on the wing. Again, creates a little bit of space, a little bit of doubt, and gives him time here, ultimately, for this pinpoint kick from George Williams. He sees the vision, sees where to put the ball. And there he's captain up for Sam Tompkins, and out to Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall will be delighted with this scoring, having been out of the team last week. Beautiful start for England.
I think that short side that he showed there, I think it's a highlight of last week and this week, and then its execution at the end of it. They find the kick, it lands in the right spot. You're always going to have a chance if you compete like that, and England came up with it.
And I thought Williams was fantastic throughout the whole half. You saw him involved in the second try, if we get a chance to look at the second try as well. I thought George Williams continued that form on. You saw him involved in lots of different plays within this. Then finally this beautiful pass, Jonesy, right at the death.
Yeah, and I think John Wilkie mentioned it, didn't he? All the visual cues that he can see in the defensive line. He's recognised Julian's just coming out there, too much of a big read, isolates his winger, and Ryan Hall will take them all day long.
Did you teach him that, Steve, that defence?
Listen, that's a great vision from George Williams. Archimano's probably got to go a touch early. If he's going to go, he's got to go with him a little bit earlier there. But there were short numbers, so
everything was going England's way right at the start. You can see why he'd be angry here, wouldn't you? That the first 20 minutes, England only dropped the ball on the 17th minute.
I can't see his face, but the body language from behind suggests there may be a rollicking going on
I
at the
think
moment.
there might be some expletives.
There might be probably a good job we
some
can't see his
steam
face.
coming out.
Yeah, but I talked about it before the game, didn't I? When you go in video on Monday morning, you don't want to be involved in those soft tackles. A couple of really soft ones, not least the dummy half barge over there. Andy Acker's involved. He wouldn't have wanted to be involved in that. But look, they've been really good, as Steve mentioned. Last week when they had Samoa down at St James's Park, there's a slight slope on there like a swimming pool. And you felt like they were gasping for air because they were in the deep end. And France have been in their deep end for the vast majority of this game. The 2 times they've been on the goal line of England, they scored tries, and that's what he'll be shouting and getting angry about.
He's still making his point forcefully, should we say. The third England try.
I think he's shown a bit of England playing well when they were listening to what Sean was saying here. I just think Victor Radley's been one of the best players for England in this half, and I think it's his ability to go to the line with 2 forwards inside and outside. It makes him a real threat.
Yeah, that is. It makes it a one-on-one. Ben Garcia just gets across the front of him there, needs to keep him on his left shoulder, and it just creates that bit of space. Look, Victor Radley's a half-back playing in the middle of his body at times. He can play, he can carry, he can run. And it's great sort out as well. Yeah, he's an outstanding player in those situations. And at that stage, it looked like it was all over, didn't it?
You can preview them all day long. You know what they're going to do, but defending it's another thing. Defending one-on-one like that is incredibly hard. When you're on back foot, when you're a little bit fatigued, when you're struggling to get your breath back, and as JP says, Victor Radley outstanding.
England were incessant, weren't they? That's for 25 minutes. Is it understandable at some point that they're going to let France, at least, I mean, because for that first 25 minutes, they didn't have a play the ball inside their own 20. So it's only understandable that at some point in a half of rugby they're going to get an opportunity, surely.
Well, yeah, but that's what Sean will be disappointed about. They've only been down there that couple of times, but it's from strong carries. We've previewed Ben Garcia before. This one's Justin Sangari creating some chaos in the play of the ball. Getting him on the back foot. Archie Morgan, opportunities try. Yes, they have a last play there. Found his way through. But I thought they had great shape, France. They've been down here and they moved the ball 2 or 3 times in the set, moved the England team around, and then you take those chances when they come along.
They look really, really well drilled, the France. They all know what they're doing, where they're going to be, what the positions are. And with England, I think England at 25 minutes need to be ruthless like they were against Samoa. The reason why we walked away from Newcastle after 8 minutes and went, wow, that was a performance, because England had the foot on the throat of Samoa and they kept it there for the full 80 minutes. That's what Sean Wayne will be disappointed with, and then they backed up with probably one of the softest tries you'll see. Pelissier's try here with England. I just think this one, if we get a chance to see this, is just not what England should be about, their DNA.
No, and he's very different, Pelissier. He's a cheeky player. He loves a little bit of chaos. There's a forced error there. And look, we talked about Ackers doing this, didn't he? You said, Jamie, he's out Ackers, Andy Ackers, and he's dived over from 2 metres. And look, they're all 4 points, and Sean Wayne will be really disappointed, as will all them England players around that ruck.
I just think it's sloppy, right? Andy Ackers is a better player than that. Week in, week out in Super League, he plays consistently at a higher level defensively than that. But I think that was endemic of the second half of the first half. England was sloppy in a lot of things they did, and I think they lacked that discipline with the ball and without it, and that's why France are back in the game. But ultimately, I think that's a good thing for England, this test going forward in the World Cup, because not everything's going to go their way.
I think for France to win this game, England had to play poorly and France had to play absolutely at the best. There was not a sight of that in the first 15 minutes. But as that game wore on, England were playing poor. France started to improve, and that's, if you watch from the top, well, actually their defensive movements, they're moving a lot better, France, in defence at the end of the game than they were at the start of the game. They're on the front foot here, they've got a little bit of energy, so I think the start to this second half for both teams is really, really important.
And quickly, very importantly, they didn't let England over for a final try in that 1 minute where the knock-on gave the ball back to England.
Yeah, that's right, one final opportunity before the hoot, and we were guessing that they'd score, put on a play from the scrum, try and create an overlap, but listen, credit to France, they've been persistent, they've been resilient, and they've earned the right to get themselves back in this game.
Second half on the way now. The women's tournament at this Rugby League World Cup starts on November the 1st when England take on Brazil. Ahead of that, you might want to check this out.
This is sheer commitment for Rugby League World Cup selection.
Every player in the country competing to get into this squad.
Do your job and do it to the best of your ability.
We don't get paid, we work, we train, we go gym in our free time.
The pressure's on.
Who will make final squad?
We live and we breathe rugby league.
We're better, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're faster. Let's show them.
1, 2, 3.
Women of Steel. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
So that's available. Also available on iPlayer. Rob Burrow letting us into his life with MND. It's a very powerful documentary. Now the Physical Disability Rugby League World Cup starts tomorrow. Wales, New Zealand and England, Australia from 2 o'clock on the iPlayer. And stay with us on 3. After this game we're going to bring you New Zealand against Jamaica in Group C from Hull. Let's go pitchside and join Tanya.
Yes, I found a very interested spectator, Alex Walmsley, who would have been out there barring injury. What are you making of the match so far, Alex?
Yeah, it's been a good tussle. Obviously, I thought it started really well, putting some good sort of early strides in getting the game onto our platforms. But I don't think we'll be happy with the last 15 minutes. But I thought what we did in the first sort of 20 minutes was good, and hopefully we can see that in the second half.
As a fellow prop, are you watching Justin Sangare and thinking, oh, he's going to be interesting to stop for these Rhinos next season? Yeah, he's been an handful. He has. He's been an absolute handful. And you know, as a pack, I know we won't be happy with how we've sort of defended against him. He's got to muscle up. He's a big, strong, athletic kid, and he runs hard. So yeah, we need to tighten up there. But he's sort of, I suppose, led that forefront of the France attack, and we've got some joy off the back of him. And what have you made of the atmosphere here? Yeah, it's been amazing, hasn't it? You know, obviously, you know, Bolton have done a lot of work in getting the game on, and here it is now, and another packed out stadium. And listen, it's a World Cup on home soil. It's big, it's inclusive by everyone, and yeah, it's another joy. And I'm really actually enjoying being a spectator for once. Really? You're not sitting there going, oh, I so wish I was out there? I'm enjoying being a spectator, but I won't lie, I'm dead jealous. I'm agreeing with Emily up there, looking down on these boys that I'm playing in that jersey again on the World Cup. So yeah, I'm really jealous, but look, I'm going to enjoy it as a fan and be a part of it as best I can, I suppose, of amazing spectacle and an amazing few weeks. Thanks for your time, Alex. Thank you.
Good to have Alex with us, looking inside the England dressing room again. Just Steve, how important is it that you don't, in some ways, throw the baby out with the bathwater here? In that you recognise actually there's a good 25 minutes, half an hour from England, despite the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, look, over the whole 40 minutes, they were dominant. They were clearly the best team. But the scoreboard has changed the perception of the game, and as a coach, sometimes you can overreact to that as well. And that's the fine balance, that's the bit there that you've got to get right. And it's difficult once you've turned the tap off in terms of enthusiasm to get it back on, but I still think England are way dominant, too physical for this French team, and probably still to adjust.
England playing well, still beat France playing well, I believe. They need to get back to two things, field position and control possession. If we do those two things, field position through strength of carrying, kicking well, and just stop making simple errors, they'll dominate this second half.
And they'll do that through staying calm, being composed, being disciplined, winning that ruck, being tight in the ruck, unlike Sangare, and just stopping Pulisier running out of dummy half.
And that's what we saw last week, very quickly, Jamie, is when they needed to put, as you said earlier, the foot on the throat, they did that.
Yeah, they've got that muscle memory of doing that, and they can go back to only 7 days ago when they played against a team full of superstars and made them look very ordinary. They can still do it, should have that confidence within each other to be able to restart the game again and get going.
All right, thank you. Let's rejoin our commentary team of John and Dave.
Well, great to have this big rugby league occasion in Bolton here today. University of Bolton Stadium. And I'm sure one man who would have loved this occasion today, Dave Hadfield, one of the most passionate voices for rugby league in this town, one of the great journalists as well of his and any generation, who we sadly lost earlier this year. Australian viewers might remember his byline of George Dunkley down under. But he'll be looking down and loving every moment of this here today. And Sean Wayne looking down and maybe not loving every moment of this so far. The first 24, 25 minutes, all pretty fine and dandy, but the French have prospered since then. The second half underway, Tony Gigot with that restart. England will get first touch of the ball and start from deep.
Yeah, I think Sean Wayne will just be a little bit frustrated. He'll have watched Australia dispatch Scotland last night and really not lower their standards for a minute in the game. The challenge maybe has been England just dropped the standards for 5 or 10 minutes here, and it's cost them. And now Steve McNamara makes a great point. The perception of the game has changed. Now at 18-12, France start to believe. England maybe start to just, that confidence is just eroded ever so slightly. So there's 2 quick scores for France before half-time. Completely now changed the dynamic of this game.
World Cups, any sport, John Keown, you know this as a former World Cup coach and a current World Cup coach, you can't have your A performance every game, can you?
No, but that's what you strive for, and that's what you demand as a coach, and I'm certain from Sean Wayne's body language, that is what he was demanding. And interesting to see Jack Welsby out there, because one thing about Jack Welsby's got in his DNA is the very fact that he gives up on nothing. He absolutely competes for every single play, and that's the message I'm certain Sean Wayne will have given to the England team as a whole.
He's playing at full back, isn't he? He's gone on as full back, and I'm just looking round. Sam Tompkins is not back out there at the moment for this second half, so the halves stay as they were, Sneed and Williams. Here's Pelissier, only got the last 21 minutes, I think, against the Greeks a week ago, but he's had big minutes already in this game, has Eloi Pelissier. The kick downfield from Tony Gigot, and this will be the first full-back role to be carried out by Welsby, who'll run it back at that French line and immediately begin asking questions of them. And it's something about that young man, isn't it? There's Tompkins on the sidelines. What is his best position wherever he plays? He's a 5-star performer, Welsby, isn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think we need to be overly concerned with where he plays, actually. He's a modern rugby player. He can play a number of positions. Look at Matt Burton for Australia last night. A similar sort of player, can play a number of positions. What I love about Jack Welsby is he gets his hands on the ball. Whatever position he plays, he's involved, and he goes looking for action. And that's why he's usually around when big things happen.
Aletsky with a drive. Ackers stands at dummy half. Switching towards that left-hand side. Williams, a little skipping, stuttering run of his, which just puts a few doubts in opponents' minds. Sneed now on the end of it, puts the kick up. Farnworth's after this. He's towering over the fullback Escaré, keeps it alive. England desperate on this 6th tackle, and somehow Seguier comes back and intercepts.
Well, England were desperate, but weren't the French desperate there as well? They worked so hard to get numbers around the ball that when the ball was popped out of the collision there by an England player, there was a French player just looking there to claim it. And just look at the numbers of blue shirts there on the screen.
Yeah, it's encouraging, isn't it? That's fight, that's desperation. That's all of the things that'll please Laurent Fresneau's, his side's willingness to scrap and stay in this game. You know, they could have thrown the towel and 18-0, the game was done, but they've not, they've had a dig.
Well, this is a group that at the moment looks wide open, doesn't it? You know, the French could yet spring a surprise here on the English. And the way Samoa turned out last week, the French might just fancy themselves against Samoa as well in a week's time. Here's Hall, looking to return with a little bit of interest, and he has a real muscular effort as he brings it in. Welsby picks up at dummy half. England already prospering inside the French half. Watkins cutting back, kept alive to Williams. Williams across the field. Farnworth now has possession. He's got support on that left flank, but takes the tackle. Whitehead, Mandy to deliver the pass from dummy half. A little bit tight there for Aletsky to get his momentum because the French line came forward quickly. It's Ackers who goes right to Radley, and here's Williams. Welsby back on the inside for Bateman. Loves to run from right to left as Bateman, and he loves to tear a hole, and he gets the pass away, and England get their second half up and running. Elliot Whitehead on the end of it. Scored last week, scores again today, and that is just the mood that the England fans wanted to start this second half in.
Yeah, they needed a strong start, and they've got that, and it's not through structure. The majority of that set of 6 was just people running laterally, just waiting for chinks in the defensive line to open up, and Elliot Whitehead knows how to run a line. And it's through a little bit of ball movement, but then what I love about England and love about John Bateman is when he just goes exploring, he just goes wandering, sees what happens, breaks one tackle, suspect
There's a hint
close
of a
to
forward pass.
It's very close to a forward pass, wasn't it?
A hint, was it, John?
A hint, a smidgen.
I think there was a hint of a forward pass last week to Elliot Whitehead's try as well, wasn't it?
It was forward, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
it's not forward because it's been given as a try, John. So
yeah, I know.
It's not forward.
Fine, it's not forward. It was great play from John Bateman, regardless. Just again, when he's at his best, he's running and challenging the inside of defensive lines, really taking defenders on. He's done that there. A fantastic instinctive piece of support play from Elliot Whitehead.
And interestingly now, because one or two of the French players immediately went to the referee afterwards, because it's a great run, as you say, as John described it superbly, exploring, and then the gaps there, and there's great support play from Whitehead. But immediately after that, one or two of the French players went to the referee claiming a forward pass. Well, it's happened now. What they've got to do is forget that and get on with the next thing. And sometimes that's a little bit difficult when you feel you've been hard done to, but they've just got to get on with the next tackle and the next set.
So Gigot will restart with a kick. England getting the ball back and looking to get a bit of a roll on again, just as they did in the first half. That opening 24 minutes was pretty good, and they're looking to revert to type again here in the second half.
Yeah, and we've seen the impact of Jack Welsby already, what he does to this team, just how energetically he carries the ball. It just creates things, and it's infectious, and somebody's buzzing around as much as he is. Other people get involved in it. John Bateman gets involved in it. Jack Welsby can just infuse people around him. That's one of his best traits.
6 again, I believe it.
Yeah. So England roll forward again. Bradley in a battle with a couple of the Frenchmen there to try and get his body released as quickly as possible, so play that ball as quickly as possible. Here's Welsby. Inside the French half. Akers to Williams. Williams out to Bateman. Bateman again. Trying to take them on. We're going to get the coach's thoughts in just a second, but let's just watch this set of 6 develop here from England, because there is a potential. Radley again, trying to roll with the punches as they come his way. 20 metres out. Akers dashes towards our left-hand side. He's going to have a go. Andy Akers, ball back to Radley. Radley comes in. England setting up position. 1 play to go. Inside the 10. Out it goes. Sneed with a lovely little kick into that in-goal area. The French just survive and knock it away. It'll be a dropout underneath the sticks. Let's go down to Tanya to find out what's been said by the 2 coaches at half-time.
Well, Sean Wayne very much echoing the thoughts of his captain, Sam Tompkins. Tompkins' move off is not injury, it's a tactical move to bring Jack Welsby on. But Sean, really happy with the first 20 minutes, not happy with the second. He said the detail defensively was not good enough. He felt they gifted them the 12 points rather than them earning them. We need to be better in the second. As for Laurent Fresneau, who felt that they were getting tired in that first half, they need to empty the tank, work on the small parts of the game and put England under pressure.
Here comes Zalewski, running it straight at Da Costa, but Da Costa stands firm. Hookers tend to be the littlest fellas on the field, don't they? But they're often the toughest with the biggest shoulders.
Well, this is a really important set, Dave, because there's been a number of tackles here that England have had in the French half, and for the French to have any chance in this game, they've got to hang firm and not concede.
Akers back on the inside. Radley again. Just a little bounce there, but France holding on. Just about holding on, making sure that Thompson didn't make the burst. And the short pass again, they're testing this French line. But the French have only 1 tackle to survive here. There's the kick from Akers, and easy does it. Easy does it from Victor Radley. Referee's just having a think about this. Yep, the French players say, can we have a replay?
Run last tackle, Rob.
I think they might be looking at offside.
Well, he kicked from dummy half. How can it be offside?
Well, let's hear from the video referee, Robert Hicks.
Video referee to match director, we have an on-field decision of try. Please can I see all available angles to confirm he is onside at the kick. If we pause it on the foot, that should be able to make sufficient evidence on it. Okay, so if you just pause it there, yeah, both feet are behind the ball, move it on please. And the ball's grounded. Thank you, I've seen all the angles I need and I've now made my decision.
Well, the French were wagging a finger. Well, the referee's going to point his finger, because that's a try. That's confirmed. Victor Radley. And England are back to where they were.
Yeah, it was a pretty compelling protest from the French, wasn't it? They were certain Victor Radley was offside. We were certain he wasn't. He certainly wasn't. A great kick from Andy Ackers. Nice try for England. And that settles England now into a nice frame of mind. 28 points to 12 up. Surely Sneed will kick this. And now what Sean Wayne will look is the response off the back of this, going ahead further, is what's their defensive attitude and effort like now? You know, when they don't need to be good now if the game's gone.
Lovely little kick here, wasn't it? You know, to thread it through a defensive line when there's so many bodies around, that's a fair old skill, and Andy Ackers executes it perfectly. And Radley just pushes in support, as good players should do. And it's a clean grounding. I just cannot see what the complaints were, because it's a definite 4 points.
Victor Radley, the 24-year-old Englishman. There'll be some Aussies who are having a chuckle at that, but he is England true and true. Thanks to his dad. We'll be mentioning that a few times, I'm sure, throughout the tournament. Long thinking process before he decided to pin his colours to the England mast. Utterly committed, not a girlfriend, it's a marriage, he says. And he's here for the long run. And England are very glad he is. Here's Watkins, bringing it out.
Here we are, Ben. Right with this ball.
Ackers at dummy half. England looking to build from deep again. Oh, Watkins is hurt here.
He's took a head knock here going into the tackle. You just saw as the tackle came in, Watkins he just staggered at the play of the ball. I think it's a head-on-head clash.
Oh, Da
Costa's head on Watkins' head.
It's an accidental collision, isn't it?
Accidental, but you see Watkins is out there.
He'll definitely be up to the side for a head injury assessment, no doubt about that. And it's just great to see that, you know, how the medical staff respond to such a situation.
Well, he'll go off, he'll be assessed, he's got 15 minutes to pass a test, but you rather suspect he ain't going to be passing a test here, that he'll be off for the rest of the game.
Yeah, without doubt. It's just with Callum Watkins use his footwork so late at the line. You know, it's quite often defenders get in awkward positions when they're tackling him, that's why he's so effective. His footwork at the line there's just put Da Costa's head in an awkward spot for him. A really firm contact, and Sean Wayne will be concerned for Callum Watkins here. He's been so good for England, but we can't speak enough about what Callum Watkins has done, transitioning from back row at Salford, where he's been incredible all year. Sean Wayne's thrown him into the centres. The England coach had faith that going back to the centres would be easy for him, and it looked seamless last week. He carried the ball so strong.
And obviously as well, John, what Sean Wayne will be considering is the fact that should he fail the head injury assessment, he then has to go through a return to play protocol, which involves 11 days. So that will rule him out of the next group stage game,
which is against Greece next week. And not being disrespectful to the Greeks, that's a game that the England camp won't be too concerned that Watkins is going to be out.
I don't think they're concerned at all. I don't think that's disrespectful, Dave. I think that's just a harsh reality of things. Is that the Greek team is excellent that they've got representation in this World Cup, but they're not going to compete with England. England can play and toy with things. The challenge for England is, after such a big performance against Samoa, is where do you go from there? So this week, what is it? Would you say this is a bit of a dip in performance, maybe? So then, you know, you've got to get back up, and the quarterfinals are where it's at.
Well, Ryan Hall's filled his boots today. He's extended his English try-scoring record to 37 tries so far in 39 appearances, and these are the two. He's scored tougher tries down the years, hasn't he?
Just some delightful play there. The ball from Williams was really smart, using Tompkins, as we mentioned. And Ryan Hall's a good finisher, you know, he didn't take a lot of finishing those tries. But what's more impressive is metres gained. 130 metres gained, and not just that, he's been destructive in terms of the ruck for France, shrugging people off, playing the ball quickly. And that was a trademark of England's performance against Samoa, and Ryan Hall's really not missed the brief there, has he? He's delivered in that department.
Elliot Whitehead and Herbie Farnworth in there as well. Herbie Farnworth, very much the young gun in that particular centre-wing partnership. 12 years separating them. Herbie Farnworth 22, Ryan Hall 34, and Callum Watkins is up. Not healthy, but he's up. So that's a good sign. And as John says, this is where the medical staff just simply take over now, don't they? In both codes of rugby, anything like this on the field, the medical staff say, right, we're on. Anything else doesn't matter. We're on to put this right.
Yeah, they're trained to the nth degree to deal with such situations, Dave, and they do it very, very well indeed. And it's good to see Callum being walking off the field.
He's not in a good way.
Clay Balding there, Clay Balding, KPE, the president of the RFL. Simon Johnson, the chairman of the RFL, in there as well. And there's Professor Chris Brooks with his spectacles on, one of the most highly qualified, most respected of all medical staff in world sport, never mind rugby league.
Well, it just goes to show as well Jack Welsby's value to the squad. Not only did he go on and pep them up straight after half-time, he's now gone out into the centre, Tompkins the full-back, and Welsby into the centre to cover for the absence of Callum Watkins.
It's just a mistake here from Radley, though. It's given French possession. Jack Welsby, as you said, look, he can play anywhere. Just play him anywhere, just get him on the ball. It's a poor pass from Andy Ackers just behind Victor Radley. Come up with the error, and then France, very much like the first half, not had an awful lot of possession. In that first half, as soon as they did, they really took advantage of it. And they're going to need to do that now here.
It's a long break, isn't it? Quite a long break there.
Yep.
And it really is a case of both sides just really digging in and refocusing here after that long break.
You need intensity after a break like that, and you need your leaders to just bring that intensity of effort, of movement, of contact. Create that intensity, because the atmosphere of the stadium flattens, so you can't rely on that. You need your individuals to go and get that intensity back.
Here's Lange out of dummy half, throws it to Gigot. Gigot offering it back on the inside again, and Desarrière with the big effort from him, and the French are only 15 away. They've been a long way back before and found a way to work themselves into the game. Can they do it again here? Or can England lift in defence to just deflate the excitement? Has to go back and play it from where he was tackled. Here's Da Costa. Da Costa now. He's trying to push his way through. England's defence firm at the moment. Pelissier to his right-hand side, and Desarrière with a big push. Big effort from a strong front rower. Pelissier spinning it back. Morgue. Now the kick from Gigot, patted up in the air by Welsby. Where's it coming down? Eventually it's going to be Dom Young who puts it out of play, concedes a drop out underneath the sticks.
Yeah, and I just think if one thing England have maybe got wrong, as we see the kick from Gigot, Dom Young manages to bat it out. I think England have just got their defensive process a little bit wrong. There's too many French players just falling through tackles, you know, finding soft parts of people's shoulders, dropping through the line. And I think that's what Sean Wayne will be disappointed with, the detail of the contact. Their first up contact has just maybe not been at the level it was in the Samoa game.
Garcia with the initial carry. Pelissier out of dummy half, another set of 6. Too slow at the tackle from England to get out of it, so that's why the French have got a little extra tackle here. Da Costa lines up. Gigot. Just another effort, another one of those big efforts from Desarrière. He's carried it well, hasn't he, there?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason, John, I feel he gets through the other side is his late footwork. For such a big man, he's got absolutely sensational footwork.
Yeah, Lenski could be in trouble here. What we see in rugby league quite often is when a player stood, there's 2 men up top, and the third defender will come in and try and chop. It's frowned upon amongst the playing group if you get that wrong, if you go too low. Just buckles Desiree into an awkward position. So it's part of the technique and the practice that we use, but it's got to be controlled. The referee's having a look and deemed that there's no control there from Maletsky. You know, if we're talking about the contact and the defence, I think you take McLaurin out of the team, Chris Hill, you know, is not on the field, and once you start putting other players in there,
so that incident on report here, so the World Cup disciplinary panel will have a look at that during the week and decide whether Mikołaj Lecki has a case to answer, and he could find himself suspended for future games. He might not, they might say it was fine, but the referee declining to make the big call on the field, throwing it forward for another day. Pelissier at dummy half here. The French again are just encouraged, and it's another one from Desiree. Working really hard and putting France on the front foot. Pelissier, out it goes. Short pass from Morg. They're trying to drag themselves over in the shape of Garcia, but he's pulled down by this England defence and having to work hard here, England. Good test of their defensive mettle on their own line. Pelissier again, springs it back, taken by Gigot. Big hurl of a pass behind Langui. Langui has to go back and pick it up, but look how well he's done. And offloads to Escaré. Escaré on again. Goudemont held up 15 away. And only one play to go for the French here. Can they conjure a little bit of magic? It's Morg. Gigot. Big pass by him to that right-hand side. And Romano, is he too close to the sideline? Well, he wasn't able to make anything of that. England's defence does well.
It's a big pass from Tony Gigot, but it just absolutely did nothing to the defensive line. The England defence were just really patient. Well, it looks impressive, but so easy.
The crowd loved it, didn't it?
So easy to read. And look, simplicity is sometimes the key when you attack.
I think the crowd loved the defensive effort, Dave. The fact that they held firm for that set of six, and I'm with John. That's a play for Hollywood. That's not a play for rugby league.
This says the gritty Yorkshire coach.
It'd be a pretty bad film, wouldn't it?
It would, really, yeah.
Just that pass.
Yeah. Not much of a plot.
For 3 hours.
And a poor ending. Here is Ackers out of dummy half. Tompkins, a little fresh, having come on from the interchange bench. Out of necessity in this second half because of injury. Radley, good hands from him. Good hands from England. Wellesby, he has to pick who he wants to score. He's chosen Young, and Dom Young's over for his third try of this World Cup. Wellesby's taken a bit of a clatter in the back play, but Dom Young continues to be the starlet who amazes us with his try-scoring exploits, and England push further ahead.
Yeah, Dom Young with a great finish. He's had an exceptional start to this World Cup in his England career. Just a powerful, imposing ball carrier, but has scored some telling tries also. But this was all about the inside of him. Williams soft hands to Radley, Radley soft hands to Bateman, Bateman soft hands to Wellesby, and it's game over from here. Jack Wellesby does that in his sleep. Great ball to Dom Young, but just subtlety. In contrast to what we've just seen from Tony Gigot.
Yep.
Short passes.
Just stripping the players out, and that's all that it was 5v3, and all they did, they just took it near enough to the defender to engage him before handing on to the next man, and you see the result of that. Simplicity and clarity equals excellence.
He's had an incredible prolific run at the moment, Don Young. He scored 5 tries in his last 3 games in the NRL for Newcastle. 2 tries in the warm-up against Fiji, 2 tries against Samoa last week, 1 here today, 10 tries in his last 6 games. There's still 20 minutes and a little bit more left to play in this game, so he might have more here tonight. But England are enjoying themselves again now.
We're all enjoying ourselves, Dave. It's a World Cup.
I always feel slightly told off by you, John. Chastened. Here's Sneed. 5 out of 5 before this one. He's kicked superbly well. Make that 6 out of 6. 36 points to 12. England lead, and they will say that's more like it.
Yeah, absolutely. You speak about Dom Young and how many tries he's scoring. Well, I think it's difficult not to score tries when you've got this man on the ball, Jack Wellesby. He created tries for Dom Young in the Fiji game, in the Samoa game, and the subtlety of hands on the inside, creating a try for Dom Young there, without doubt. 6'6", very athletic, great finisher. But that man in shot, Jack Wellesby, and that man Sean Wayne will be delighted with that execution. But when you put good players around somebody like Dom Young, he's going to be lethal.
Gigot with a kick, Tompkins with a collect, and Tanya, I think, down on the touchline has a bit of injury news. Tanya?
Yeah, I think it goes without saying that Callum Watkins will not be back on this evening, but he is conscious, he's talking, and at the moment they're saying he won't need to go to hospital.
Well, that's good news. Ackers. Here's Hill. looking to plough a furrow down the middle. Chris Hill. Because left to Tompkins. Tompkins is inside the 40 when he releases that, but Escaré's done really well to get across and catch that on the full.
Yeah, kick on the third tackle, wasn't it, there from Sam Tompkins? So buying field position or attempting a 40-20. And do England look better when Chris Hill's out there as well in the middle? You know, that's a thing that Sean Wayne will be asking himself when he's looking to the future of the tournament.
Yeah, and I think you take Morgan Knowles added a load of intensity. Chris Hill and McLaurin are on there, tidy defensive players. We've had maybe Akers and Aledzki who've come on and maybe just been a little bit off the pace, not by a lot. So the real small changes in the team make a big difference, and I think that's one of the stark contrasts. I thought for Australia they changed things and their standard probably went up, but England just had a little bit of a drop in their standards here, but nothing too alarming.
Well, that's a towering kick from Gigot, but Tompkins has taken it well, falling backwards as he came down, protecting himself from those oncoming French forwards, led by Goudemont. Hall struggling to get this play the ball as quick as he can. Farnworth now putting the footwork on as he tries to push himself through. Akers at dummy half. He's got good game time here, hasn't he, Andy Akers? He'll have enjoyed himself out there. This is Bateman again, who's certainly enjoying himself, almost pushing a hole through that French defence again. On the back of it, Akers will go having a look. Last play, Tompkins. Williams kicking a rush, kicking a chase, pressure on here on Lebert, but takes it well enough.
Yeah, the formula for England for me is quite clear. It's big outside backs, strong carries, a little bit of shape through Victor Radley, and then half-backs who are willing to run the ball. And that just creates speed, it creates indecision in defences, and it's incredibly difficult to play against. So after a 20-minute blip in that first half, you feel like England might have settled down into some of that routine that they got into in that Samoa game so well.
France just through Seguier, just trying to get themselves on the front foot again here if they can, but from deep inside their own half that's difficult. Da Costa snapped up by that eager and willing English chase led by Hill. Pelissier kicks away inside the 40, but it's going, it's bounced just inside the field of play and bounced back in again. And Young will pick it up, and he's going off on the chase here. Dom Young through two, and eventually Gigot gets across to drag him down.
How exciting when he went for it there. It's just a sight, and we've probably not seen him get up to full speed. Well, he certainly got close to it there.
He overtook a pigeon there, John.
Hall gets up and plays. Tompkins now across the line. If they're hoping to find Dom Young out there, they won't. He's still getting back from that run to the left. So Bateman taking the tackle. England looking as though they're in the mood for more points here tonight. They really do. And here they go again. Great hands. Herbie Farnworth, Ryan Hall for the hat-trick. No. And he's given it away. Trying to keep it alive. A little early with the pass?
Well, yeah, it was a nice play, wasn't it? I think he got down to Ryan Hall a little bit too soon from Herbie Farnworth, but he's probably thinking, look, I'll put Ryan Hall one-on-one with Morgan Escaray and I'll win that battle.
Yeah.
It was actually great scramble defence from France, and one thing Laura Fresno can be delighted with, and John Kay mentioned it, is just getting numbers in the frame in desperate situations. Look, they're way behind on the scoreboard, but certainly still fighting here, Dave.
Look at this English defensive effort again inside the France 20. Just giving them no escape route whatsoever here. Gigo's boot. Well, it's a 20-40 if it goes out of play, but it won't go out of play because Tompkins is across there. So that's a new rule, isn't it? Newish rule. We know about the 40-20, but the 20-40 figures as well. Kick it out from inside your own 20 and it goes out beyond the opposition's 40. You get the ball back. So as a defensive ploy, when you're under pressure like the French are, that's not a bad get out of jail card.
But it's a great rule there, because what it does is it rewards exceptional skill, because that's a pretty difficult thing to execute, is what you just described. And although Gigot went for it, he failed. And interestingly now, Tom Burgess is back out there with Chris Hill, so they're back to the starting props.
Tompkins again delivers that quick pass away. Ryan Hall, yeah, that was a forward pass. I think every French player, or most of them, stopped there to tell the referee that was forward. And the touch judge on the far side said it was.
As the break was happening, they were all running, screaming that it was offside to the referee. It's nice soft hands from Sam Tompkins. It's really difficult under pressure from Artur Romano to get that away and it be executed well. Sam Tompkins has become a master in those tight situations where defences are aggressive on him. Sides always try and shut him down. He knows he's come up with an error there, but excitingly, England creating opportunities, creating numbers, creating overlaps. And the combinations within this team look dangerous when they've got possession.
Da Costa. Again, just sheer weight of numbers. Corentin Lecam on the field. To describe Corentin Lecam as tall is a bit of an understatement, isn't it?
He's a big man, isn't he?
6 feet 9 inches tall. And surprisingly, he was a basketball player in earlier life. But France have managed to get themselves inside the English half, and they've got another set of 6 here as well as Gigot slips, but they have got a few tackles to play with now, and they're in decent territory. Da Costa offers it back for Belmas.
Elliot, up together. Here we are, Chris.
Pelissier. Da Costa to his left. Da Costa now throws it back. A little bit of a juggle. Escaré just moving into dummy half here. No, he's not. It's Pelissier who gets there quicker. Goudemont. So they're tottering forward here, the French. Couple of plays to go. It's back with Moore. Teammate running in front of him, so he has to pick another path on his left-hand side. Opposite back on the inside to Langui. Sony Langui. He can finish from that distance. Given half an incentive, but closed down. Pelissier on the last tackle, pops it over the top. Domyoung's intercepted, and off he goes. Sit back and delight at an athlete in full flight. Domyoung, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They love that. Aesthetically perfect, and a second of the game.
Unbelievable. And you just knew, sometimes time slows down in games, and when that ball was in the air, you knew Domyoung was sniffing around it, you knew he was going to take it, you knew he was going to have the speed, but it was beautiful to watch him open up that stride.
It's great, isn't it? I mean, when you see athletes like that, it's just an absolute joy to watch. We showed Josh Adokar last night for Australia, and that's similar. So the scorch marks on the grass, isn't it? Is that fast?
Yeah, he's exceptional, and not just that, like, it's a really smooth running style. Some people are clunky when they run. I'm talking about myself and you, John Kim, predominantly, but Domyoung's certainly not clunky. He's smooth, he's elegant, he's graceful, he's stylish, he's a try scorer, he's a star. He's lit up this World Cup, Dave Woods.
11 tries now in 6 games. Count them. Don't just count them, watch them, and be impressed by how he scores them. Sneed with a 7th attempt here of the day.
The crowd is still buzzing, Dave.
Oh, they loved it, didn't they?
They absolutely love that.
Whatever your sport, whatever you enjoy watching most, when you see something like that, you cannot help but be impressed. 7 out of 7, 42 points to 12. England are in a comfort zone, and he's helped put them there.
There's Pelissier, who's been dangerous for France. Just trying anything, trying whatever they can. And that acceleration was explosive. There's nobody who could catch him. And the joy on his face, the relief on his face. But we saw him open that stride for the first try against Samoa, and what a way to start the World Cup that was. Wouldn't it be amazing, or dare to dream, if that could be the end of the World Cup, and that's Domyoung in a World Cup final scoring for England.
You're getting ahead of yourself, John.
Sorry.
You're getting ahead of yourself. Let's just enjoy the moment.
Always projecting.
Let go, French. Let go.
12 minutes left to play. England 42, France 12. Here's Burgess. Wow, what an excitement, what a thrill machine this fella is. He's going to be a superstar at the end of the tournament. Here's Herbie forward. Forward's up and running. Tries to flick it away. Picked by Akers. England keep possession. And look at the position. And they've still got tackles in the bag. Williams, they're working it right. There's an expectation. Tompkins, charge down. It'll be the start of the set here as Williams drops on it. They've lost some ground, but they've gained extra tackles.
Oh, it was smart from Sam Tompkins. Morgan Escaré was trapped in the ruck. He was still in the ruck, so Sam Tompkins and Wellsby got themselves organised, spotted some space, just couldn't quite thread the kick.
They're an exciting team to watch, John. They really are. I think they assess the numbers on the opposition defensive line and the overload, and then they've got the skill with the hands to go through. They're making great decisions such as that attempt there by Sam Tompkins with the kick. They're just a good team to watch.
And they've got two halfbacks who want to run the ball. Jack Wellsby's playing centre here, but he'll play in the halfbacks in the big games for sure. And him and Williams want to run the ball. They're a threat. They make defences accountable, and that makes them difficult because tries can come from anywhere.
Oh, Farnworth just got a French hand to deny Hall a hat-trick, although he still had Morgan Escaré to run over the top of. But it's out of play. England get it back again here.
Well, they've rescued this in the second half, haven't they? You know, it may well have been disappointing just prior to half-time, but they've certainly come out, and I'm sure that Sean Wayne, the head coach of England, will be delighted at the response to his discussions, shall we say, at half-time.
Burgess with the drive. Akers stands and waits at dummy half. The stadium here at Bolton is ready to explode again here. They want another try. They want more points. The atmosphere is electric. Bateman offloads. Young, not even he can get through that, so he offers it back on the inside. Wellsby with a little kick. Williams is after it. Escaré too.
I love that.
That's a case in point, Johnny. Just what we've said, that's a case in point.
Right, you work for years to have a connection with players, and sometimes it takes years to develop. But what I've seen from Jack Wellsby and George Williams is a connection that's unnatural, and it shouldn't be as developed as what it is for the limited amount of time they've had together. They read each other so well. I love watching them two play.
Here comes Burgess. That always means a big impact. Whichever of the brothers or the twins it is wearing that England shirt. Oh, it's gone behind Hall again. Farmer tries to keep it alive. What a play. French head and feet at the scrum here, I think.
Well, they're trying their best to get Ryan Hall over, aren't they? And once again, they're looking down the left-hand side. And there's some good hands initially, but then just not quite executed so well at the very end there. But this will all help. As you've rightly said, John, there is great connections already, but it will all help to build them for further down the line in the competition.
And disruption's good. So losing Callum Watkins here just tests somebody else in a different position. You know, having Andy Akers on the field is a good test. It's a changing dynamic. So I think it's great for Sean Wayne to be able to just move players around. And when you've got adaptable players who can do multiple roles, it gives you such flexibility within a tournament. And that's maybe Jack Wellsby, players like him who can just really fill different gaps in the team. Gives you that ability to flex really quickly.
Coming on number 15,
was a dummy half there. This is Escaré. Julian, Benjamin Julian. You two get to pick the player of the match as well in a few minutes, so get your thinking caps on.
Yeah, we're having a Marcel discussion here.
I wondered what was going on. Here's Gigo, good footwork from him. Out it goes to Julian. Julian with just a kick and a hope. And Hall, well, the winger with a big pass. Tompkins on his knees, holds his hands up in apology for the slip, but
that's why he plays on the wing. You know,
what, Ryan Hall with passing like that?
Yeah.
Don't do that again, Ryan. Just run with the ball.
Just do your job in yardage and finish in good ball.
Steve picks up. Here comes Hill. Hill with a big galloping effort again, putting the French on their backsides. Those who try to meet him. Williams skipping forward. The English with the offload. Williams collects again, puts the kick in, takes a ricochet or two. Offside against Williams because Wellsby quite clearly played at that. So the French get a penalty.
Yeah.
Look at the meterage there.
Yeah, I mean, that's 1700's good, 1800 you're usually winning. If you get to 2000, Dave, just as context, that means you've definitely won the game. Usually 813 metres is a shocker for France. That's just not even in the physical contest at all.
By the way, just giving you an update on points that England have scored of late. The last 3 tries now, 152 points. Callum Watkins is okay, that's good, that's good. But and if you'd said, you know, a month ago that England would play Fiji, Samoa and France and would rack up big wins against the 3 of them, that would score 152 points, you'd have thought, wow. And now you've just got to sit back and go, wow.
It's building well, it's building well. It's a home World Cup, it's got great exposure, and the players once again are delivering.
Well, barring 20, it's been almost a flawless start to the World Cup for England. What 20-minute blip, and that's what Sean Wayne, when we hear Sean Wayne after the game, without doubt he's going to focus on the blip, the 20 minutes that will upset him most. But that aside, it's been almost perfection from England at times.
Last play, Gigo. Out it goes. Kick and chase into the in-goal area by Seguier, but that's
40-20.
Not the best kick, that is it. That's a dreadful kick.
Yeah.
And that's why he doesn't normally have the kicking
Correct,
duties.
yes, his licence will be revoked.
He's worked hard as Ryan Hall. 170 metres. Starts his 20th carry. Big work rate for somebody coming into the team.
Young trying something miraculous.
He's tried to force it, didn't he?
I mean, John, I think Ryan Hall really, he knows with Tommy Makeson and Young, he's got 2 cracking wingers there that he's in competition with, and he really has, he's laid down a marker tonight.
Yeah, they're the interesting ones, aren't they? Selection headaches as the tournament goes on, and certainly all of the wingers have played fantastically well, so a headache there for Sean Wayne.
This is Gigo, down and up again. Oh, Gigo's done really well there. Wonderful stuff from him, and he gets support on the outside as well for Arthur Romano to score. And that was a little pocket of magic from Tony Gigo.
Yeah, pocket of magic from the French halfback, the number 7. Really created that out of nothing for Romano to cross wide out, but I would suggest from an England point of view perhaps there'll be a question mark or two. First of all, about Young there, this just is not on. It's just high risk with very little reward at that point in time. But let's credit Gigo there. Sneed away, he gets it first of all, then the back row Whitehead, before he just sucks in Sam Tompkins to put his winger away.
Yeah, it's probably 4 defensive errors there. Initially missed from Sneed, so a bit grabby to Armsy, doesn't quite make his mark. Whitehead, grabby, Armsy, no shoulder. Farnworth, grabby, Armsy, and then it's done. You can only make 1 or 2 defensive errors back to back, and then you're conceding points, and certainly against Australia, New Zealand, you know, 1 or 2 defensive errors will lead to points. You certainly can't go 3 or 4. You're chuckling at me, Dave Woods.
I'm just thinking Grabby and Armsy, are they the dwarfs that didn't make the final 7? Here comes Morg, looking to keep his 100% record, and he has done. 3 out of 3, so 42 points to 18.
England 42.
Yeah, it's Tony Gigo, bit of a maverick sort of player, a very quiet day. Had a lot of involvements, but England defensively, in the main, have been on the money with defending him. Maybe a frustrating afternoon for him. He's one of the more experienced players in this young French team.
Player of the match, by the way, who have you chosen, you two?
Well, after our Marcel Marceau discussion where we pointed to various names on the team sheet, there's been some great efforts by people like Ryan Hall and Young, and the forwards have been tough with Ackers. But ultimately, when we've really looked at it, we've just felt that George Williams has been the one who's led the team around and come up with some stellar plays.
Yeah, I think he's been on the ball a lot. He's getting involved in this, as we see. Centre shot. Jack Wellsby in the middle of it as well. Yeah, but an incredible performance from this melee will die down, but an incredible performance from George Williams. I love it when he runs the ball. I love it when he takes people on. I love it when he competes. Jack Wellsby competing hard here. Escaré not keen on how fiercely he's competed.
Attendance here at the University.
And some credit here to Sean Wayne as well as coach, because George Williams, by his own standards, has had a really poor season at Warrington, hasn't he? And if you're picking on form, he maybe doesn't get in. And Sean Wayne said, no, I know what he can do, and I know he will deliver at a World Cup.
He's been in such a bad team this year that Warrington have had an awful season, and I think George Williams hasn't been as bad as Warrington have been. I think he's been one of their better players, but you put players around him who are in good form and he looks world class, doesn't he? And he's been world class in the first 2 games for me.
90 seconds to go. England in the quarterfinals, almost certainly as group leaders, unless something incredible happens against Greece next week. So England doing what they've had to do at the start of this tournament. Not only that, doing it superbly well. Apart from that 20-minute period in the first half here, they've been pretty on form. They might have conceded another one. Lange's claiming this. Tompkins tried to get there, but I think Lange got there first. And the referee, Gerard Sutton, thinks that, but we're going to the video referee again. Robert Hicks.
Video referee to match director. We have an on-field decision of try. Please can I check all available angles for grounding, but I need to see the kick first to clear the onside, please. Pause on the foot, please. Player to the left or onside, yeah, we can keep going from here. Okay, so it's all about the grounding now, please, just to see that he does get his hand to the ball while it's on the floor. Hands are coming towards the ball. That's still, it's up. And the separation there. Thank you. He has to catch all regrip. I've seen all the angles I need, and I've now made my decision.
Yeah. Oh, there they go. Here we go. I think this is going to be no try. Yeah, no try. Separation. Quite clear separation.
I didn't think that was so clear, Dave.
I thought it was very clear. I think Robert Hicks got that absolutely spot on.
Player of the match.
Yes.
Awarded to England's number 7, George Williams.
There's the announcement as George Williams as player of the match. We'll be hearing from him at the end of this game, which is now only 50 seconds away. Well, they came, they saw, and they loved it here in Bolton today.
Yeah, they've been very happy, well, England in patches, but I'm sure certainly in the review, John, that Sean Wayne will draw attention to the 18 rather than the 42, and just point out the fact that they need to defend better against the more established international sides.
They're blowing up again here. Sam Tompkins and Justin Sangaré, I think, at the middle of this.
Well, what Tom Burgess stands up, he's dominated Pelissier in the ruck and then decides to flick Pelissier to one side. Pelissier takes a dive that it would definitely make it in Hollywood. He's tried to milk a penalty, and then the reaction is off the back of that. He's got no place in rugby league. Pelissier should hang his head in shame. Maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah.
On reflection, I think
somebody owes somebody an apology.
I apologise to Pelissier, but he's always involved. I've played against him for years. He's always around these incidents. Tom Burgess, certainly. It looked more of a scrag. It was a push.
A nice backtrack though, John. 10 out of 10 for that.
Sometimes I wish that replay just come in a little bit quicker.
Well, you know? Tom Burgess is in the bin here. Not that matters, because there's only 15 seconds to go, but it's on report, that might matter.
Yeah, it was a bit, I mean, on reflection, that was a bit reckless from Tom Burgess. No need. He takes a round of applause off the fans as he leaves the field, but it's been a good tempered game. And the story is young French professionals playing at a World Cup and learning all the time. And for England, a really exciting 60-minute performance. What a lovely welcome to this stadium as well. The people on reception, a fantastic welcome from Bolton to this World Cup match.
Little chip on Chico, Ryan Hall. Go on, Ryan, go 80 metres, can you, for a hat-trick? No, that'll be it. One last play. Tompkins will just take the tackle. Well, we're off to Sheffield next week to watch England complete their group games against the Greeks. And England will go there knowing that they are in the quarterfinals, almost certainly as group leaders. And this is proving to be, so far, a very good more than that, an exceptional English side in this World Cup. The opening 2 wins against